Thanks for tuning in to the 6Three podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and my co-host, Ben. We did the 2000 MLB ReDraft this past week, and the likes of Yadier Molina and Shea Sutley, Hanley Ramirez, Adrian Gonzalez kind of went off the top there. And then 2001, also a class with lots of talents, especially I think offensively. I think it takes a little bit of a drop in the pitching department, I think, in this class. But I was also intrigued because we started our MLB redrafts with the year 1990. And I'm like, if we would have went back just one more year, 1989, although this could turn into a slippery slope because 1988 wasn't bad either. But 1989 had like Frank Thomas, and Mo Vaughn, and Chuck Knobloch, and Todd Jones, and John Olerud, and Tim Salmon, and Jeff Bagwell, and Ryan Klesko, and Trevor Hoffman, and Jim Thome.
Hall of Famers.
Brian Giles, Jeff Kent. Let's see. Denny Hocking, Vinny Castilla. Denny Neagle. Like there is a lot of talent in that class too. Tom Goodwin, the speedster.
Yep.
I was looking at that class and I was like, wow.
Yep.
And then you pull up 1988 and it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty good too. Damian Easley, Jim Edmonds, Robin Ventura, Kenny Lofton. There's Mike Piazza, Pudge Rodriguez, Tino Martinez, Deion Sanders was in that class. Scott Cervais, Eric Karros, Rico Brogna, Raul Mondesi, Luis Gonzalez, Brian Jordan, Andy Vanez. So, again, and I guess it could be a slippery slope. I could probably type in, 1987, and I'm still going to see guys that bring some nostalgia back.
Probably, yep.
But I was like, man, those would have been fun redrafts to do too. I don't know if I would have gone all the way back to Ozzie Guillen in 1980, but
no, probably not.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting. I was going through some of the old classes with some recognizable names. So yeah, I guess with that, 2001 is next in line here, and I get first pick this week.
You do.
You picked a catcher first this past week. I'm going to pick a catcher / first baseman first, and it's gonna be Joe Mauer.
Good call.
306 hitter, 143 homers, 923 RBIs, 52 stolen bases, almost 2150 hits. He was an MVP, 6 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves, 5 Silver Sluggers, 3 batting titles as a catcher. That's pretty tough to do, and just short of 55.5 WAR. Those are good numbers.
Those are good numbers. I will take Ichiro Suzuki here.
Mm-hmm.
Was an MVP, 10-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, All-Star Game MVP, Rookie of the Year, 10-time Gold Glove, won the batting title twice, 60 WAR, over 3,000 hits, hit 311 for his career, had 509 stolen bases as well. All around one of the better hitters of all time, and also played until he was 45, which is crazy, and he didn't break in until he was 27. And he had a really good career, albeit shorter, but really, really, really good career over in Japan as well. So really one of the better hitters probably to have ever lived. So.
And I honestly, you know what? He was the typical slapstick hitter, but I really think he could hit a home run if he wanted to.
Sure. He had power occasionally.
Yeah, he had, and he had the follow through on the swing. So it's like, I don't know. I remember watching him in certain clutch situations, and you could tell situations where he would actually go swinging for the fences. And it seemed like he would be able to pull it off when he needed it. So
he played 162 games, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then another 1, 2, 3.
That's unheard of now.
Another 4 times he played 161. So, and then multiple.
That's pretty much unheard of now.
Yeah, pretty absurd. Hit 372 in 2004, 350 his first year. 2001. So yeah, incredible hitter. Really good outfielder too. So
yeah. All right. Number 3, I'll take David Wright for third baseman. 296 hitter, 242 homers, 970 RBIs, just shy of 200 stolen bases, almost 1,800 hits, 7 All-Star games, 2 Gold Gloves, 2 Silver Sluggers, and over a 49 WAR.
Okay. Let's see. Comparing these two. Okay. Second here, so let's see. I'm gonna take Mark Teixeira here.
Okay.
First base, switch hitter.
That was my next guy.
Yeah, 50.6 WAR, over 1,800 hits, 409 home runs, hit 268 in his career, just under 1,300 RBIs. Played a good first base. He also was durable early in his career. Played 162 games a couple times. Was a beast, especially with Texas, and then for a few years there with New York, he was a monster. He had 144 RBIs in 2005. So that's a lot.
He was gonna be my next guy. So I'll move interior infield a little bit here. I'll go Robinson Cano. Next for second base, 301 career hitter, and longevity obviously lives. He's been with like 2 or 3 teams already this year. 335 homers, over 1,300 RBIs, over 50 stolen bases, about 2,650 hits, 8 All-Star games, home run derby champ, 2 Gold Gloves, 5 Silver Sluggers, an All-Star MVP, and over a 68 WAR.
Yep, he was good. Let's see here. I'll take JJ Hardy at shortstop. I need a shortstop. So 28.1 WAR, hit 256 in his career, 188 home runs, 688 RBIs, made a couple All-Star teams. Started with Milwaukee and then ended up going to Baltimore for the latter half of his career. So was overall a solid player for 13 seasons.
All right. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, I'm going to go Ryan Howard, first base. 258 hitter, just shy of 400 home runs, 1,200 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, 1,500 hits, MVP, Rookie of the Year, 3 All-Star games, home run derby champ, Silver Slugger, and a 15 WAR. However, he is 18th all-time in career strikeouts. But
he struck out a lot.
a lot of power.
I watched him live one time. He hit a home run and stole 2 bases, which was very strange.
That was pretty much wow. He stole 2 bases. That would be one. Yeah. That'd be 17% of his career stolen bases.
Yep,
in one game.
It was kind of crazy. Roy Halladay hit a home run that day. It was a weird day. Let's see. I'm going to take Kevin Youkilis here. We'll put him at third base. 32.4 WAR, hit 150 home runs, hit 281, over 1,000 hits, 618 RBIs, 653 runs scored. Only played 10 years, but overall was a really, really good hitter. Got on base. He's featured in Moneyball because he gets on base. So, 3-time All-Star with Boston. So solid player.
I think I'm going to take. Let me just double check the numbers here. I'm going to take Chris Young, outfielder here, 235 hitter, just shy of 200 home runs, 600 RBIs, 150 stolen bases, over 1,100 hits. He had an All-Star game and a 16.5 WAR.
Okay. I'll take Melky Cabrera here.
Yeah.
20.6 WAR, 101 stolen bases, 144 home runs, hit 285, switch hitter. Decent outfielder as well. He had the steroid thing hanging over his head for a minute, and that's okay because we don't discriminate on this team.
No, we don't.
Did have a All-Star game in 2012. Overall solid hitter. Hit 240 or 346 in 2012, which is pretty crazy. That did not lead the league, which is also kind of crazy. Overall solid player. Had a little bit of pop. Didn't strike out very much, so just a good outfielder.
Take him and probably play him at DH because I filled the position already with, I think, a better fielder. That's going to be Dan Ugla.
Okay.
241 hitter, 235 homers, over 700 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, 1,150 hits, 3 All-Star games, a Silver Slugger, and an 18.5 WAR.
Okay. I don't know if I want to go that route. Doesn't seem right. I am gonna go. Give me Mark Pryor.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he got hurt.
Yeah, Adam is my number 2 pitcher. So,
but had a 16.6 WAR in basically 4 real years. 3.51 ERA, 42 and 29. Big strikeout numbers. Was great in 2003 with the Cubs. That was a really good Cubs team. It was 18 and 6. Overall, that was his All-Star year. Overall, was really promising until he got hurt, and now he's a pitching coach. So
I remember watching him with the Cubs for several years. He's one of the better pitchers in the league.
Yep. Kind of he had really bad shoulder injury, and that pretty much ended it for him.
I'll do it for pitchers a lot of times too. Man, want to go with him already? Okay, I'm gonna say I'll make him a left fielder here. I'll go with Johnny Gomes.
Okay.
242 hitter, 162 home runs, 526 RBIs, 50 stolen bases, 835 hits, the 3.5 WAR. He was like really good for 3 years, and I think he dealt with injuries later in his career. Didn't stay healthy for full seasons, but I think when he played, he was obviously really effective.
Sure. I'll just take Ryan Theriot here, I guess. I'm going to put him at second base. 6.7 WAR, hit 281. He's a solid average guy. Had 257 RBIs. Had 121 stolen bases, so he could run. Only played 8 years, mostly with the Cubs. Overall, solid. Nothing crazy, but pretty good defender. And a good average guy.
Yeah. I will take. Let's see how many games. He only played at this position 19 times in his career. So it was definitely not a primary position. But I'm going to take Martin Prado and put him at shortstop. Primarily a third baseman, and second base is the next most, then shortstop and left field and right field. We're kind of all in that position. So 287 hitter, 100 home runs exact, 609 RBIs, 40 stolen bases, almost 1,550 hits. He had an All-Star game and nearly a 28 WAR.
Nice. Okay, I will take Rajai Davis here. He's going to be in center field for me, more than likely. 11.8 WAR, 62 home runs, hit 262, 1,111 hits, 387 RBIs, and he stole 415 bases. So definitely brings the speed to the table. Didn't strike out very easily. He had a couple of years later in his career where he He struck out a little bit more, but was mostly a pretty tough out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, bunch of stolen bases. So had 50 in 2010, handful of years with 40 plus. So pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny. I had him ranked. That was the 16th pick, and I had him as the number 16 offensive player in this draft. So,
I mean, I thought about taking him even a pick or two before just because of the speed, but there's too many decent guys.
Yeah. Man, tough. All right, I'm gonna go with Miguel Montero. Wait, no, I don't know if I want to do that yet. As my reserve catcher, I might take him as my reserve catcher here.
Okay.
256 hitter, 126 home runs, 550 RBIs, 973 hits, 2 All-Star games, and a 14.5 WAR. He's a talented catcher, so if I get him as a reserver, I'm like, I'll run that.
Yep, for sure. Let's check in these two guys. Give me Dan Heron.
I knew I waited too long for a pitcher. I was like, how long can I milk this out? He was my top pitcher, and then you have Mark Pryor now.
Yep. So 35.1 WAR, 153 and 131, a 3.75 ERA. He worked really slow, so I didn't really like that he I really didn't like watching him pitch. But he was good. He did have a save in his career, so he did occasionally throw out a bullpen, especially later in his career. 2013 strikeouts. Wasn't a huge strikeout guy, but overall really, really good pitcher. Racked up some big strikeout numbers early in his career, and he kind of figured it out. So
I guess before you go stealing all the pitchers now, because that was my bad on waiting too long for one. Taking the top 2 pitchers, in my opinion. I'm going to take my number 3 pitcher, Ubaldo Jimenez. 329.
I was talking about with Ryan Howard. Ubaldo Jimenez pitched in that game.
He was also a good hitting pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 329 games, 315 started, 114 and 117, virtually 500 record. He had a save as well. 4.34 ERA, over 1,700 strikeouts, an All-Star game, and a 20.5 WAR. I think he pitched primarily with the Rockies. So.
Yes. Yeah, he was very good the one year. He was crazy good one year. Give me Giovanni Soto. Need a catcher.
He says begrudgingly.
Yeah, I just don't like him that much, but it's fine.
He had one really good year too, though, with the Cubs, where he got the All-Star game.
Yep, definitely. He had a 12 WAR, 108 homers, hit 245, 361 RBIs. Did have the All-Star game in 2008, where he was really good. He won the Rookie of the Year that year, but really never recaptured anything that close to that after that year. But had some decent years for the Cubs overall. Was it overall a pretty good catcher? So,
all right, I'm going to take Edwin Jackson.
He just retired.
Yeah, I noticed that. But that you would talk about longevity, but Edwin Jackson definitely falls in that category. 412 games pitched, so that means about 100 games out of relief. 318 started, 107 wins. He had a save, a 4.78 ERA, over 1,500 strikeouts, an All-Star game, and a 9 WAR. And he pitched for the Olympics team, I think, in the past Olympics.
He did. He
Dave Robertson too. They've had a bunch of old guys come by.
He holds the record for most different teams played for.
Does he?
Yep.
Is he the MLB's Josh Johnson?
Yes. 14 different teams.
I like it.
Crazy. And he
had some bad years, but he was also just a pretty good, reliable pitcher.
He was reliable. I mean, he had some crappy ones. He was an all-star for Detroit in 2009.
Yeah, I remember that's when we had like Max Scherzer and everything.
Yeah, he had some good years. For Tampa Bay,
Yep.
he was good.
He had one with the Diamondbacks. I thought was pretty good.
Fine. Yep. So he wasn't bad. I didn't mind watching him pitch. I liked his stuff.
Mhm.
What else do I need?
Let me pull that up. I mean, like 6 more pitchers, a DH, and then all your reserve positions.
Yeah. Man, just stinks. Just give me Skip Schumacher just because positional flexibility a little bit. We'll put him in the outfield, I guess, for now.
Yeah.
Hit 278. Was mostly I mean, I don't know. He started a lot for St. Louis in the middle there, but was kind of a platoon guy most of the time. Only 28 home runs. This was mostly an average hitter, so nothing crazy. But we'll take him to fill a spot.
I'm gonna take my reserve infielder here. I'm gonna make that Alberto Caspo.
Okay.
265 hitter, 52 home runs, 370 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, 941 hits, and a just shy of 10 WAR.
Okay. Give me Jason Bartlett. 18.4 WAR, 31 home runs, hit 270, 123 stolen bases. Put him as a reserve infielder for now. Did have an all-star game in 2009. Just didn't play long enough really to rack up some huge numbers, but hit 270, like I said. Had some good seasons for Tampa Bay mostly. So we will take him.
All right, this guy played corner outfield. I think I'll take him here. I'm going to take Luke Scott. Play corner outfield for me. 258 hitter, 135 home runs, 436 RBIs, 725 hits, and a 12 WAR.
Okay. And then I guess just give me oh man. Give me Mike Fontenot.
Mathis.
Give me Mike Fontenot. 4.2 WAR, 265 hitter, 163 RBIs. Take Fontenot and Terrio. They were on the same team, Cubs teams too. I remember them. Did have a pretty good year in 2008. Hit 305. Was an overall pretty good average guy, so we'll just take him as a reserve.
Give me I go back and forth on these guys. No, I'm gonna take Casey Kochman.
Okay.
260 hitter, 71 homers, just shy of 400 RBIs, 800 hits, and a 7.5 WAR.
Okay. Give me a Yusmeiro Petit here. 8.6 WAR, 50 and 44, 3.93 ERA. Pitched a very long time.
I think he was still pitching in at least the beginning of the year. He was a free agent.
I don't have him. He might not have even technically retired. I don't know. No one has him right now, but
On MLB The Show, he was in the free agency pool.
Pitched last year though, for Oakland, and had a pretty good year. He was 8-3 last year. So overall, good guy to have out of the bullpen. He was sort of a starter at the beginning of his career, but mostly just a good arm out of the pen.
And we'll talk more about just tenure. Anibal Sanchez, I'll take here.
Okay.
It's 354 games pitched, 331 of them started, 112 wins, a 4.09 ERA, 1,750 strikeouts, and a 27 WAR.
Okay. Give me Jim Johnson here. 8.3 WAR. He was 38 and 46, 3.79 ERA. Had 178 saves though. So he had a stretch there. Most of them came in just 2 separate years with Baltimore, where he had 51 in 2012 and 50 in 2013. Led the league both times that in those years. So solid closer for a couple years there. More than solid, really probably the best one in the league for 2 years.
Okay, he can play second base and outfield. Okay, I'm going to take Scott Hairston here. 242 hitter, 106 homers, 313 RBIs, 36 stolen bases, 600 hits, and a 6.5 WAR.
Okay.
Just need one more catcher, and then the rest are pitchers. I think 4 more pitchers.
Yeah. Take Kelly Shopick.
Okay.
8.3 WAR. Only hit 223 in his career. Was overall a pretty decent reserve catcher. Only played 9 years. So.
Didn't want to go with Jeff Mathis.
No, I didn't. Only real distinguished is he led the league in hit by pitches in 2009.
Shopick did?
Yep.
Oh, no kidding.
18.
Okay. I apologize. You technically still could do a DH. You can move any one of those guys you drafted around, but that means you still get one more hitter.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to get Jason Bartlett back at DH. We'll probably put him to DH.
Okay. All right. And then I think I'm going to go pitcher here. Let me double check his. I'm going to go with Ricky Nolasco.
Okay.
330 games. 312 of them are started, 114 and 118, 4.56 ERA, over 1,500 strikeouts, and a 13.5 WAR.
All right. I'll go with Zach Duke. Need a lefty. 12.2 WAR, 69 and 91. That's not great. 4.31 ERA. Just a guy that kind of could eat innings. He was an all-star in 2009 with Pittsburgh when he was a starter at the beginning of his career. But then transitioned into a relief role, and it probably kept him in the league for a while. He did end up pitching for 15 years. So.
Okay, I'm going to go with Matt Albers here. Not a relief.
Yes, Matt Albers, yes.
Yeah. 616 per games. 24 of them were started. He had a 500 record almost. 47-48. He had 7 saves. 4.35 ERA. 571 strikeouts. And a 2.5 WAR.
All right, give me CJ Wilson. 17.5 WAR. 94 and 70. 3.74 ERA. Had 52 saves. He was also a starter at the end of his career as well. Came in as a reliever though, and had 2 all-star years in a row with Texas as a starter, where he was 16 and 7 and then 13 and 10. So, and then he was 17 and 7 the year after that with the Angels. So had 3 straight really good years. Pretty good pitcher. I enjoyed watching him pitch. I thought
I almost forgot about him. That's a good pitcher. I think he's better than Bad Albers.
Yeah.
I mean, Albers is fine.
Albers was a good reliever for a while. One time I saw him hit a double, and then he got darn near thrown out at second base because he's not. He hit the wall, and he almost got thrown out at second base, which is just sad.
You've seen some legends out there in the field.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take Brandon League. 498 games pitched, 27-35. He had 74 saves, 3.65 ERA, 375 strikeouts, an All-Star game, and a 3 WAR.
Okay. Ooh. We aren't taking any negative wars. That's not happening.
So I think you just need a DH and a pitcher, and then you're done.
Just putting Bartlett at DH for now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Then you need a reserve infielder. Sorry.
I'll take Edward Mujica here, though.
Okay.
3.9 WAR, 24 and 28, 3.92 ERA, had 50 saves. Had 37 of them came in 1 year with St. Louis. That was his all-star year. Overall, a pretty good arm to have out of the pen.
Mm-hmm. And for my last player, I will do Edinson Volquez. 294 games pitched, 273 of them started, 95 and 89, 4.45 ERA, 1,323 strikeouts, an all-star game, and a 6 WAR. I think he had like 2 or 3 really good years. So with the Reds.
All right, and then I guess I'll just take Jason Nix. He stinks, but 1.6 WAR, only hit 212. Had a little bit of pop in his bat occasionally. Had 36 stolen bases as well. Was pretty much a reserve infielder his whole career. Yeah, nothing special about him at all. He's just filling a roster spot at this point.
Yeah, I really thought you were gonna go like maybe Chad Tracy. He plays the corner infield.
Yeah,
He had pretty good numbers.
yeah. Nix can play every position in the midfield.
That's true. Yeah, you got that. So it looks like the best players that I had available, in order, it was Chad Tracy. Then I had Jeff Keppinger, then Ryan Raburn, Dottie Crosby, Gabe Gross, Felix Pie, Jeff Mathis. Those were the best hitters available. And then pitchers, in order, I had Gavin Floyd next best available. Then Grant Balfour, Jeremy Bonderman, Aaron Heilman, Noah Lowry, Nick Blackburn, Kirk Saarloos, Manny Parra, and Kyle Davies. So,
yeah,
some good players that are still left on the table. But yeah, we put 20 players on our rosters. So, not bad here at all. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so